Good afternoon, everyone. I am thrilled to be here, and as you know, all eyes this week are on Ferguson, as a grand jury there decides whether or not to indict Officer Darren Wilson for the fatal shooting of Michael Brown. It sparked those dramatic protests that we all saw, and it really is a touchstone for so many of the people and the issues that we are addressing here today. Joining us now on the phone from Ferguson is veteran civil rights champion Harry Belafonte, who was planning, you can applaud if you'd like, who was planning to join us today, but he felt compelled to be in Ferguson. Harry, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
We can, loud and clear, Harry. Your voice is very strong, as always. I wanted to first get your impression of things on the ground there in Ferguson.
My impression here on the ground in Ferguson is that there's a great deal of tension in the air. There's a great deal of expectation. The young leaders with whom I'm meeting with as we speak, I have to step out of the room, take this call. I'm busy trying to take a look at the short-term objectives as well as the long-term plan. They're waiting for the verdict to be officially handed down. As the rest of the country is experiencing, nobody quite knows precisely what will be said. There is the expectation that the grand jury is going to return in one indicting verdict. And if that happens, it is an opportunity for the young people to be able to speak to what they specifically intend to do if the verdict comes back and there is no indictment. There has been rumors of violence, and to a great degree, in the presence of myself and Danny Glover and Cortland Cox and some of the people who are part of the civil rights movement, who have been activists from SNCC and other organizations, are here having a meeting to be able to ascertain what contributions we can make towards helping the young people mold their agenda, so how to deal with this crisis.
Harry, what kind of guidance are you giving this generation of protesters, if you will? I know that the peaceful demonstrations are what you're organizing, what you're guiding towards. What kind of advice are you giving the folks there on the ground?
Well, I do not know that I have wisdom to offer. The specifics of the advice will be determined when we have our meeting today, and I hear specifically from the young people what each and every one of them want to do. I'm meeting at different pockets of expression. There are those who represent a group that's quite angry, who are not prepared to negotiate and don't want to hear, quote unquote, from the elders, and those who have no voice in our contemporary reality. And there are others who say we cannot move without hearing from those who are the interpreters of our history as to what we specifically be doing. So there's a big part of the group that wants to hear where they can go and what they should be doing, how they should deal with the national frame, how they should deal with national organizations that want to step in and become part of their demonstration, and of course, talking with the others who have very little patience for that kind of process. But we're all in the space where we are willing to listen and hear what has to be said and done. The specifics of the tactics have not yet been determined, but there are a lot of plans on the floor.
And Harry, you bring your experience as a civil rights leader to the folks there, and yet what impact do you think the ruling might have on the issues that we're discussing here today, on the cycle of incarceration, on reentry, and all of those criminal justice issues?
I'm not too sure that what will happen from the verdict that will be handed down today affects just Ferguson. I think the United States of America is in a great crisis with its dealing with the issues of justice, in particular the way in which the justice system impacts upon young people who are disenfranchised, who are dropouts, who have no chance at work, that they have no chances to be occupied, to be occupied. To be employed is what I meant. Without certain goals set. Now, one of the things that I have to talk about is what were the instruments that were available to us back in the days of the civil rights movement. And there were drastic differences. First of all, the issues were more clearly defined because many of the issues we fought in the days of the civil rights movement were based upon laws that had been instituted and were being applied from the individual states, or the segregationist laws, or the discriminatory laws, or the racial laws. That was very clear. We had a government that was friendly and in great part to many of the things that we said. The Kennedy brothers, President Kennedy as well as Bobby Kennedy. We had a labor movement in this country that was very actively engaged in the issues that were affecting the people of the 1960s period.
Harry?
None of those exist today. Hello?
Harry, thank you so much for your insights from Ferguson. There's a young man I wish you could meet here that the audience is about to meet, and we're going to move on with the program. But thank you so much for joining us with your thoughts, and good luck in Ferguson.
Thank you.